If you just look at the history of Delta flight attendants compared to the other carriers, many represented by the AFA, Delta flight attendants always had a superior position. And it goes really back to 1926 and Mr. Woolman. And he called it the Delta difference. And so Delta has always distinguished itself as being a special place for people to work, and also a place where people were really committed to the airline.
The direct relationship that we have with our flight attendants is absolutely a part of our company philosophy.
And our commitment to all of our flight attendants is to continue that great tradition. The people of Delta, our Delta, are really committed to the company, and vice versa.
It's the people of Delta that make the difference to me. It's our Delta.
When people get off the airplane and say, this is the best crew ever, that's our Delta.
Our Delta means to me that I'm part of a great company that has created a new Delta brand.
And I'm only part of a much larger group, a very large group. And so it's not just my Delta, it's our Delta.
Our Delta means leaders and flight attendants working together to solve problems and to offer the best service we can to our customers. Our Delta also means honoring all of our pre-emergence commitments. We've made over 40 changes to enhance the quality of work life to our flight attendants, to enhance pay and benefits just in the last 12 months.
And be able to work in a very dynamic environment, whether it be through the hard times, such as the bankruptcy, something that, frankly, many of the other unionized carriers that went through bankruptcy were not able to do. We were able to do because we had the ability to work collegially, cooperatively, collaboratively with our employees, and more importantly, we have a history of doing that.
The camaraderie at Delta is probably the envy of the industry. If you look at our crews when they're just walking down the concourse, you'll see the smile, you'll see them talking and laughing as they go along, you'll see them interacting with passengers.
You can see that in the way that people help each other. When there's a situation where a flight attendant may need something or has had some tragedy in their life.
On September 10th, I went on what I thought was a 3-day trip to Guadalajara, Mexico. And on September 11th, I woke up and turned on the CNN and saw everything that was going on in New York and Washington and Pennsylvania. And there were 2 Delta crews, a Continental crew, and an American crew was staying in the hotel next door to us. Delta called me every day to check on our crew. Continental was never contacted by scheduling, by any sort of management, even American, who, I mean, those flight attendants lost coworkers and they were never contacted. Delta took the initiative to take care of us. When we checked out of our hotel, all of our food was paid for, all of our drinks, all of our phone calls was taken care of. So it just proved to me that Delta is a caring and loyal company to work for.
I've been employed by Delta Airlines for 6 months. Delta had this little secret, and everybody was well taken care of by management, and everybody did their share, everybody pulled their weight, everybody did what they had to do in all aspects, not only flight attendants, but everybody else. And that's what made Delta a leader in itself.
We do have a voice with all the communication channels. They really try to have a two-way dialogue with us. I don't know where else you can go and have your entire executive and then departmental leadership team in one room, and you can walk right up to them then, and if you can't get them in their office, walk right up to them and ask some questions.
And when you care about your employees, having a direct relationship with them that's not filtered through a union that makes its living by collecting dues, and instead motivated by a company that wants to do right by its employees, it's much better for the employees in the long run, because we'll respond every day to the issues that we hear about on the line. And the flight attendants bring them directly to us. They don't have to go to a union hall and lodge their complaint there and then wait for an employee of the union to call the company. We have an open door, and they come directly to us with their problems.
The people that look after compensation make the decisions at Delta Airlines, I believe, are very level-headed and they're very fair. I don't feel that I'm in an adversarial relationship with them.
I believe now more than ever, after 9 months of emerging from bankruptcy, that they still have my best interests in mind.
I don't think I've ever trusted our leadership team more than today.
At one point in time, we decided that our flight attendants needed a raise. We had loud objections from the labor union, complaining that we shouldn't have given the raise and we shouldn't have given domestic partner benefits, that all of that should have come through them. It shouldn't have just been the company acting in the best interest of the flight attendants. And the difference between where I worked before and where I work today is we don't have an intermediary that wants to create conflict and chaos. We can go straight and directly to our flight attendants, listen to them, and immediately make changes, make improvements, improve the work rules, improve pay, improve benefits.
I have two very good friends that are flight attendants for, actually several, that are flight attendants for American Airlines, and one is my college roommate, and she said, the union didn't help me. She eventually quit, and they're very disgruntled. There's so much frustration with the union.
Personally, for me, I know I like to fly a lot of flight hours, whereas with Western and AFA, they regulate how much you can fly. You can't just fly 130 hours when you need to remodel your bathroom, which I'm doing. And that would really upset me because I really look forward to getting a little extra money.
We have quite a few flight attendants now that did come from some other carriers that did have unions. And I have to say, I don't think I've ever flown with one that would want to go back to a union.
A neighbor of mine worked for United. She's no longer with United, but she would just say, gosh, Lisa, you guys are so lucky that you don't have a union. I mean, and that was the basis of our conversation because she was just so envious that we didn't have a union and she did.
There's been hundreds of flight attendants we've hired over the last several months that come to us from other airlines, Northwest, United Airlines, US Airways. I've had a number of conversations with those flight attendants, and they say Delta is the best airline to work for, and I know of no Delta flight attendant who wants to go work under the contract that United or Northwest or US Airways has.
I certainly know that the Pan Am experience with union representation wasn't particularly beneficial to the Pan Am employees.
Western, Pan Am, TWA, those unions didn't take care of them. Eastern, the unions did not take care of them. Delta has taken good care of us.
Tell me how it helped Eastern, how it helped Pan Am.
I have been with the union before. And I've been with the carrier that doesn't have a union. Now it's my preference that I don't seek union representation.
We respect our flight attendants' right to choose whether or not AFA representation is right for them. However, we strongly believe we are on the right course. Our flight attendants need to take this election very seriously. A vote for the AFA could change our culture forever, a culture that we've enjoyed for over 77 years.
I'll tell you, if someone came in and was able to convince me that the AFA actually allowed us to serve our customers better, I'd say vote for a union. But I don't believe that to be the case.
If you don't want union representation, it's important that you know when you receive the voting information from the NMB, rip up the VIN and PIN, ensure no one votes on your behalf. The only sure way to say no to the AFA is to do nothing. Let the silence be deafening. Once and for all, tell the AFA Delta flight attendants deserve better than the union's empty promises and no guarantees.
Just as we've demonstrated with the pay raises, the profit sharing, the work rule changes, the scheduling changes, we are ever responsive to your needs and want to do our best because we know that if we take care of you, you'll take care of our customers. And our Delta is really the embodiment of the Delta spirit, the Delta difference.
Our flight attendants are brand ambassadors. They are Delta.
It's not AFA's Delta. It's my Delta, our Delta.
I want to keep Delta our Delta, so I'm voting no.
I'm going to make the choice to keep Delta our Delta, and I'm ripping up my card.